be good. I always get hot
I,
on these podcasts sometimes because you know when we get into it and it's like it I
wait,
don't know why.
what?
I was just saying, I was like, I don't know whether to turn the aircon on or not because you know sometimes when we like get into the podcast, I get like hot because I'm like either really into the topic or like, do you ever get that or you're like, no?
No. During our live, yes, but not like our casual podcast. Maybe I
No,
should.
I mean, no, I don't think you need to. I just sometimes, it's just hot. Like, it's not like I'm like, oh my God, like I'm getting nervous or anything, but I sometimes get like just hot when we're doing like the podcast because I move a lot. Like now I'm like, I didn't realize I was moving so much. Like I'm moving my hands loads. So I just get hot. So I was like, do
That
I
is
want to turn on the
so
aircon?
interesting. Like it means like your brain works over time. I'm sorry. Like I'm over here, like the podcast for me is such like a therapy session. Like I cannot be more chill. And you're
The
over there
podcast is stress.
sweating.
No, it's not. It's not. It's honestly not. It's just because, to be fair, this little room is like compact, so obviously it's probably just hot in here. But I was like, do I want the aircon on or not? I was like, do I need it on? But we'll be fine. But yeah,
If we see you like starting like dripping sweat, we'll just tell you to
we'll
like
keep you. We'll keep you in
open.
the loop. I'll keep you in the loop. Well, happy episode 70, by the way, because I love having like when it's like
Yes,
little milestones like this. I'm like, oh, we're close to 100 episodes.
this is wild. This is actually crazy.
Mm,
Yeah, happy 70th
I
episode. Oh
know.
my God, 30
Happy.
episode away, 30 weeks away. So it means that probably we're gonna celebrate our like 2 year anniversary on the 100th episode. If my math is mathing right now,
Oh my God,
ish,
yeah. Because it would
right?
be, we did it
May,
May?
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was May. I honestly want to say, because you know what I'm like with my numbers? I'm like, I want to like do it on May 1st. And like, I want to do, you know, all the events. I was always like, okay, let's do like our first live event on episode 20 and let's like announce
Yes.
the other one on 40. Like I was so like particular, but that'd be so sick if our 100th episode actually lands on 3 years. Are we 3 years in? Was it 2 years?
Wait,
No,
is
it's
it
three
two? I think
years.
it's two. No. Three?
No, it's three because it was 2022.
No.
Did we start in 2022 or 2023?
2022.
Yeah, so it's 3 years. In May it'll be 3 years, so it'll be like 2022 going into 2023. 2024. This is our second. 3 years. Where the fuck has that time gone?
Wait, but did we miss our like 2nd year anniversary? This is so
Yeah.
bad.
No, I think
Wait,
we celebrate because I'm pretty sure I text you. I definitely text you saying like happy anniversary or some shit. I'm sure I did. Or like we did recognize it, I'm sure. But 3 years?
well, wow. Well,
Wow.
speaking of the topic that we're gonna get into, um, welcome back, you guys. Welcome back to the Say More podcast. But Phoebe got us to do some homework, and
Oof.
I listen. The vibe of this thing. I went to the dollar store. I got myself a big like white carton,
Yes.
brand new like Sharpie pencil, and I had a gold and a silver, and a black one.
Love
I
it.
took it everything shower, put on my new pajamas because you know what it does to your girl. A
You
good
love
new,
pajamas.
good new crisp pajamas. My laundry was done, and I put a little candle on, and I did my year of 2025 with a little tea. And
Yes.
wow, the deep vibe, the deep
I
vibe,
know.
the deep dive, not the deep vibe, the deep,
Yeah.
yeah, but both. I mean, both, whatever.
Both.
So,
Honestly.
so you did it last year. I remember you saying to me you did it last year. Did you do
Yeah.
it?
So, but I didn't do it as. So when I sent you the text of like, we definitely gonna do like this, the 2025 vision board, like on the podcast, and you were like, "Yep, let's do it." So I was like, "Right, get ready. This is what I've researched. This is what I've got for you." So when I researched it, let me get up on my phone. So there's loads of different things you can do. So it's not just the six that I sent you. You can do more if you want to as like extras, but like they're not. Sometimes it becomes then overwhelming, and it's like you're planning everything. And I thought that's a bit like too much. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes it's nice to just kind of have the sections and then kind of go from there. So when I sent it to you, I didn't do it last year like this. So when you
Okay.
write down things that you want. So that's why I said to you before, I was like, oh, it's easy to just write down things you want to do. So like it was like do the Arnold, get qualified for 2020 like 4.
Mm,
Like things about the like small things about the business, but it wasn't like how we've done it this time. So for anyone listening, today we're going to be going through the vision board of 2025 and what
division.
you want. Yeah. And like, if you want to, like, this will be your guide to do it moving forwards. And we're going to kind of share with you what we've, I guess, wrote down as well, just to give you, I guess, inspiration. We speak about it, all those types of things. The way that I did it last year was just writing down things. And I feel like I didn't actually realize like it's things that I thought I wanted, I think. Like when I was doing it, like when I was writing it down, I looked back at it last week and I was like, "Oh, these are things that I achieved, but also there's a lot of things on there that I haven't achieved, but I know those were things that I was thinking about like past Phoebe would have wanted. I think in the moment I was like, I know I don't want these, but these are the only things I have in mind. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
versus how we've done it this time is we have 6 separate reflections that you've got to kind of look at. So anyone that's listening or has an available pen or pencil or something available, write this shit down so you can do it yourself later. Because honestly,
Yes.
I enjoyed it a lot. Like, did you enjoy doing it? Like, sometimes it's a bit overwhelming, like deep diving, but did you enjoy actually like doing that?
I really did. I really, really did. And I think it's the model that you use was right on. Like you said, it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
overwhelming. It took me about 30, 35 minutes because, you know, when I'm in like the morning like that and just like a vibe, and I'm like
You just
vibing,
keep going.
I can just keep going. But I restricted myself to that, you know, carton. So I want you to explain to the ladies, to the girls, to the Say More podcast girlies, what's the model that we use to do the vision board?
So the model that I used was you break it down into reflection. So obviously you're reflecting on your year of 2024. So you can split it up into we've done it into 6 sections so far. You can have extras and I'll tell you the extras, but we haven't done the extras this time. So we can obviously do that maybe another time if we want to. So first one is home/travel. So I mean, when you look at it, that could be like when you're at home, obviously at home, things you want to like travel, like whether that's in your home country or abroad or something like that, like reflections on what you've done this year for both those things. So whether you're at home or traveling. And then second, you've got finances. So whether that mean you hitting either a big finance goal or something you haven't achieved or something you wanted to achieve this year, reflecting on finances. 3, you've got business and career. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you, do you feel like career/business is different things? Because I think they are.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I think
What
they
do you
are.
see it as?
So I think for me, business would be more separate assets of like, do you have something that's running onto yourself? Like, do you have things that are going on? Like, what exactly is your business? Is it
Mm-hmm.
you? Is it your name? Is it your name on something? I mean, for me, business for you is obviously the portal. That would
Yeah.
be
Mm-hmm.
business. Now, career would be, do you consider yourself a posing coach? Do you consider yourself like, I don't know what you say when like an Uber driver comes along and they're like, what do you do? Like, what do you say that you do? That would be your career.
So, okay. So, career, I look at as bodybuilding. So, I look at like my career in like, as in like my bodybuilding as like an athlete. Like, I don't know why I look at them separately like that. And that could be wrong. But like, I look at career as like my career in bodybuilding, like how that's going. Like, and then business is my actual separate, like you said, assets as like where my income comes from. So like obviously the portal for you, it'd be like your programs, obviously posing and like personal training, those types of, that's what I see as like your businesses. And then your career is like bodybuilding. That's how I look at it for myself.
Okay,
That
yeah.
could be incorrect.
No,
That could be incorrect, but that's how
I think that,
I've looked at it or seen it.
yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Because there's been a very minimal income to like being a pro athlete if you just restrict it at that.
Mm,
But like everything
yeah.
comes obviously in circle. Like if you weren't an athlete in your career, you couldn't have your businesses and vice versa. But
Yeah.
you're still a business owner. But is that
Hmm.
what you say your career is? I don't know. I would say your career is
Yeah.
the thing that you say when the Uber driver is asking you like, what do you do for a living? And business
Yeah.
would be anything on the side. It could be like you're making candles, like who knows?
Yeah, yeah. No, I know. To be fair, I know what you mean. Like that's how that makes sense. And to be fair, what do you actually say when the Uber driver asks, like, "Oh, what do you do?" I say, "I'm a professional bodybuilder," and then they obviously talk about that. I don't always say it because sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to have to explain like the whole eating, the lifting, how much I lift, because the main question is like, "Oh, how much do you lift?" And I'm like, "Sir, I don't know. Like, I don't know how much I've lived. I'm not counting that." But yeah, most of the time I actually do say like, "Oh, I'm a professional bodybuilder," and I pose people for stage, and they're like, "Oh, okay,
Oh,
like that's
see?
interesting."
But see, you say both, which is like very interesting to me. I mean, when they ask me my occupation, I say professional athletes, and then they're just like
Uh-huh.
question mark, and I'm like, I like I'm I have
A bodybuilder.
sponsorships, like I have sponsorship
Yeah.
and I have endorsements. Like that's pretty much what I
Hmm.
say. That's what I say. I guess like I guess until like one separates, like one goes above the other, where like let's say my
Yeah.
programs and like my training program like takes over.
Hmm.
But I think right now like I'm mostly an endorsed like athlete, so I just say like
Yeah. No one does have to.
professional athletes. But then it's like question
Yeah,
marks, like
I
why
think
are
that's
you in
fine
an
to say as well
Uber
because you
X?
are like you are.
I
Yeah, you are though. That's the thing.
I know, but I don't know if people they're like in what? It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
bodybuilding, Because pro
Yeah.
athletes have this, like, especially in Miami, pro athletes, they're like, if you say just pro athletes, you have to be in bodybuilding because I think they're like, okay, so you're like, I don't know, like a footballer and you have like $1 million salary contracts.
Oh, got you. So they'll look at it as like obviously bodybuilding is a sport, but like a physical sport versus bodybuilding. Obviously bodybuilding is a physical sport, but obviously something where it's like more active. Obviously, you know what I'm talking about.
Just bigger
Um,
contracts, yeah. Or like a
yeah, no, that
team,
makes sense.
with a season, like a team
Yeah,
with a season. Like I don't know if I feel like people with sports have a certain idea, but yeah, no, professional athletes in bodybuilding, I think that's what a career is. And then um
yeah.
and
And then your business is like your actual like your hustle where you make your income from and something that's yours, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's number three. So you've got business and career, and then you've got relationships. So that could be relationships with family, friends, partners, just relationships in general that either with people, with other people, not yourself at the moment, because that's number five. Number five is personal development. So again, you could look at it as like relationship with yourself, like, like I'd say visions or reflections of 2024. How have you spoken to yourself in 2024? Like, are there characteristics that 2024 that you have liked, that you've disliked, all those types of things? So this is all like asking like who you are right now. And then the last one is obviously health, mental and physical. I'm diving both into, so how have you been this year and who are you now with your mental health and who are you with your physical health? Like you might be not happy with the body you're in at the moment, or you might be really happy and you might absolutely love your body right now that you're in, and all those types of things. And then same with the mental health as well. And then the extras are like I've put it's character accessories. So like your fashion, your like beauty, like what is your fashion like at the moment? What's your beauty like at the moment? Like little things like that, which obviously isn't a necessity, but it's sometimes things like people want to envision, like beauty wise, like where do you see yourself? Do you want to take care of yourself more? Do you want to, be a girl that gets their nails done all the time? Do you want to dress up more? Like those types of things you can look into more. Um, then you've got routine and habits. So like in your routine and habits, what is it? Something that you wanted to get better at? Is there something that you're doing at the moment that you should be or that you want to doing more? And then hobbies.
oh, see,
And
like,
those are the
yeah,
extras.
I love that you kind of like ditch those because I feel that they kind of go in certain categories. And even personal development for me was very like you said, like to yourself, introspections, like more to yourself, right? But also it could be like
Mm-hmm.
spiritual and religious at some point.
Yes.
And I also like relationship. I pointed out, relationship with God, with my, like, not necessarily with myself, but like, with,
I like
yeah.
that.
So you can also include that with that. And also routine,
Mm-hmm.
and I think health and mental and physical, your routine, your beauty. I see where the beauty and like those, what did you say, accessories? Like
It's like the character accessories. So like clothing, fashion, beauty, like little things. Like I think if you really want to deep dive and you're like, I want to change who I am in 2025, like become unrecognizable. And there's literally certain things that you want to go in on that are like, I want to change this, I want to change that. Like I want to really embody and change these things, then fair enough. I would say do the extras. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's so interesting because it says character accessories, and it's like, okay, so it's part of your identity, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I might do that one. I think that one is kind of like
Yeah.
interesting because I just like,
It's
I definitely
cool.
like have said like my whole, like I said, like everything shower, like I have my whole strategy of like soaps and stuff. And why do I chose those soap? Like, do you want to go more like natural? Do you want to just like wash your stuff with vinegar? I don't know. It could
Yeah.
really be
It's,
like,
and do you know what I mean?
yes, I love that. I might add this one actually. But we did the
Yeah, it's
six. We
nice.
did the six.
Yes. So with that six, you then, or the six or the extras, or whatever you choose to do, then you ask yourself these two questions. So you ask yourself who you are right now. So under all of those things, where it's home, finance, business and career, relationships, all those six things, you ask, who am I right now? So you write down all the things that you are right now. So whether that be, it could be positive, it could be negative. Like it, I try and obviously lean more towards just realistic. Don't just either gaslight yourself like, yeah, I'm this, and you don't believe it, or just dig yourself like and just hammer yourself down like, I hate this about me. I hate.
Yeah.
It's not a hate list. You know what I mean? Because I think that's what I started to do at the beginning. Like, who am I right now? And I was like looking at it from a place of like, I want to change this, so I'm going to write this down, and it's a negative way. And then I start to be like, well, what are the actual things I actually do like? Because I do really like where I'm at the moment, but for some reason I'm using it as like a criticism thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so trying to like pick out good things and things you want to change, but not in a negative way where it's like, I want to change this because I'm this, like, you know? Um, so yeah, and then who you want to be. So looking at yourself from a perspective of, okay, who do I want to be by the end of 2025, and writing down, okay, home and travel, I want to do this. Finances, I want to do this. Career, do you know what I mean? Like, and these are all then the things that you can list underneath those sections for 2025 of who you actually like want to become. And it's like, it's exhilarating. It's quite cool, like to actually like write down. When I was writing my stuff down, I was like, oh, she wants to change a lot this year. Not a lot, but she wants to change next year, you know? Like when you start to write things down, you don't realize like, oh, these are things that I actually want. And this feels good to like actually say it and I'll have it down to pen and paper, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I really, I think we did it differently. I think we honestly did it differently
Mm,
because the way, which I like,
yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong about it, but I really,
Hmm.
those two questions, right? Like, I had all the subject, like the home, travel, finance, career, business, relationship, personal development, and health. And then I had, who am I now? Which for me right now is the present moment. Who am I right now at like 10
Hmm.
a.m. Sunday, December,
Yeah.
who I am now, because that's going to be a reflection of your past anyway. So like there's no point for me to like go
Hmm.
back and dig back into like everything.
No.
It's like, okay, who am I now? Like secure, on like unsafe, kind of sad, like whatever, like that,
Hmm.
in which aspect on on the sheet of paper, who am I now? And then I started doing that for all the topics, who am I now? And then
Hmm.
which describe who am I. So when you're like, who am I? It has to be factual. So you know how you said like
Hmm.
you tend to be like very negative, and it's like we tend to do that a lot. And I've seen a quote recently about people that just tell themselves like negative stuff, and they call it retrospection, but it's really, or like self-awareness. And you're like, when you call
Hmm.
yourself self-aware, but the only thing you can talk about yourself is negative stuff, like you're just like self-sabotaging, it's just like not really self-awareness. You should
Yeah.
be able to do both. So who you are now should really be factual, like who you are in space at this very moment, and you kind of analyze like things, which like it's really cool.
Hmm.
And then 2025, who do I want to be? I ended up talking, and that was actually how you presented the vision board to me last year. That's how you told me to speak to like 2025 is who
Yeah.
in 2025, who am I now? So like I'm talking to myself when I'm like reading it, like that's what I would write to my vision board in 2025.
Got
Like I
you.
would write the same, like the goal is basically that in 2025 I have the 2024 on this side and the 2025 on this side, and I'm writing who do I want to be. I'm writing the exact same thing for home and travel.
Hmm.
So for example, home and travel 2025, I can travel now, hooray, I made it home for the holidays. Like
Got
that's how
you.
I'm talking to myself, for 25.
So is you're talking, you're saying it as a future perspective. So it's not like you're like, I'm wishing who this is I want to be, but you're actually writing it as you are, like 2025 Lauralie,
Yes.
like in a
And
year's
I
time in
feel like,
December. That
and
makes
do you
sense.
feel, I mean,
Okay,
you
that makes
gave me the
sense.
the idea, and but like I started writing it the same way.
I like that now. Oh, I wish I did it like that. I didn't do it
Okay,
like
so redo
that.
it.
So I think we did everything the same apart from the 2025 part, like the who I want to be. I've looked at it from a perspective of looking for, like, I'm not writing it from a perspective of who I am in 2025, but I'm writing a perspective as what I am now, but the things that I
Yes.
want to do or how I want to be. So I haven't written it in like in my, is it third person or no? What person is it?
Yeah, the third,
Like
it's
you're still writing
yourself.
it
Yeah,
from
it's
yourself.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so yeah, which for me, doing it the way that you're doing it, for me, it's tricky because it's always you're coming from a place of lack. Like you're coming from a place of like
Yeah.
achievement and lack, and you're tapping into like who you are as a person. You're very like achievement driven person, which could be perfect for you. And I think there's a reason why you did it, like
Mm-hmm.
you did it unconsciously like that. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, like I feel like it helps me being more realistic with my goal when I speak like that, because I'm not gonna write finances. Now I have 3.5 million, like I have $3.5 million. Like, it's not gonna be
Yeah.
like that. So I'm like, okay, I've done this, like I've book kept, like I've been organized with my finance. I look at my bank account
Mm-hmm.
every second week. I have like a routine. I'm optimizing my money. Like I speak like that to 2025
Mm-hmm.
because it's like things that I can really implement tomorrow if I want to, and like start
Yeah.
digging my goals. So that's how I did it. So
That I like that, to be fair, more. And I think it's funny that we did it just slightly differently, but it's changed, like it different. Do you know what I mean? Like I think it's cool. So I mean, whichever way you choose, I think you'll naturally kind of go towards one or the other.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think trying to do both, I'm now immediately like, I want to try that way. And I think it would be nice to kind of see or speak in a 2025 version of myself versus just writing down things that I want to do. Because it's easy. That's what I'm used to, just writing down things that I want to do, but not speaking from a place that I should be speaking for,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So I'm going to try that. I'm definitely going to try that because I think that will help. I get the ideas as to why you did it as well, because it helps you vision like how you would speak and putting it in like mannerisms that you already speak in already. Like, hooray. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think that you relate to it then more.
Yeah, and you can like embody like those feelings, and I think like I don't know, I feel like it's
Hmm.
really cool. But the way that you did it is basically that's going to be my second, like, because I bought two of big, white things, because you said the
Ah,
next
okay.
thing is going to be with the pictures. So that vision board is going to be okay.
Hmm.
If I want to freaking put a jet on there, like whatever, you can be
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
delulu as you want, because delulu is the salulu, and
Exactly.
we can we
Yes.
can literally put whatever. I
Exactly.
could be like, okay, I want like this closet, like I want those things. So now I feel like I have this as just a pillar of things, and I still have those like vision, and
Hmm.
we can laugh about it the next year because we change and I'm like a full boho now, but I have my finance in order.
Literally, that's the funny
But
thing. That's what I'm looking forward to. Like I'm excited to literally like do this episode a year
Yes.
from now and be like, let's get our vision boards up and let's show them like, and we'll just review and go through it all and it just be like, oh, it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be so cool. And I mean, I like all these ideas in terms of like just looking forwards in what we would do for 2025 because I think I've done, like I said, I've done it before, but not to the point of like actually deep things. It's been all external things with like business, finances, and stuff that I can work towards, but never in towards yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like it's never been like, oh, I want to be more of a this person or I want to do like have more habits like this. And do you know what I mean? Like I've never done the in work. It's always just been external. So this is going to be exciting to see each year. I'm going to put it literally right here because it's just this blank right in front of me right now. There's like a blank wall. I'm like, right, that's going to go right above
Yes.
my thing so I can just see it
Put
every
it
day.
put it right in your face. I really think like for me now with everything in his life is about getting the F through it. Like whatever is in your face,
Yeah.
just go through it. Like there's no point of coping a
Mm-hmm.
different way. Like, learn how to cope through it. Like if you need things in order to go through it, like go seek for any type of help. Like just accept the things that
Mm-hmm.
are put in front of you because I think there's a reason for it and you should just like go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, right through it,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, so before we start, like because most of it is very personal in my opinion, and I know you're very private,
Yeah. We won't go through
right?
all of it. We won't go through
But I
all of
have a question for
it.
you. Do you have for year of 2025, where we are now with the Same More podcast, very precisely, do you have anything with the podcast, like a vision that you want to share with us? Like I'm putting you on the spot because I didn't ask you in the first place, but um I didn't even write it down on my thing, but I just thought about it.
Oh.
Like, do you, because when we first started the podcast, like we obviously our vision grew with it, and sometimes like it grows in different
Mm.
places because we're a different person and we're also like going through life. But
Yeah.
that is my question for you. Like what, like who is Say More Podcast now, and who do Say More Podcast wants to be in 2025?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I feel like I love the community that we have. And I feel like so many people always like when, it's always at like the right time where like someone will just randomly message on either the Instagram or like me personally or to you personally. People will be like, by the way, you said this random thing that I didn't think was impactful or anything at all. Like it would just be me be speaking about something random. And they were like, that really made my day, or that really made me think. That really, and like, that's what it is right now for me. Like it's so nice to get those nice messages and to just allow people to, like we say, always say before, like feel safe. I feel like this is such a safe space where people just either open up, have like a different perspective for different things, whether that be bodybuilding, life, whatever. And I feel like that's where it is now. And if I'm honest, I want to keep it like that. It's like maybe potentially like who it can be is going on a larger scale. But then also, I feel like sometimes when we go, like when you go on like larger scales, sometimes it can then lose its like authenticity a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So I'm kind of like, I don't mind keeping it where it is at the moment because it's like, it's our little podcast, like it's our
Aw.
small little podcast that we've grown. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
it's
Like
so
it's
nice
nice.
to
Like I
hear
don't
you
want to,
say that. Like,
yeah, I don't want to put pressure on it and because I think I definitely did that like last year a little bit and even like maybe a little bit going into like 2020, like 2022 going into 2023. I was like, right, I want to do this, but that's my like business brain being like, right, let's do this. Let's try and get these guests on, then this. And I'm like, well, I actually don't really want to do that. I kind of just want to like keep it what it is. Like we just have conversations, we make people feel relatable, we talk about topics that people want to know about, and like that's it. Like, yes, we'll do like, some live events here and there, but like the live events, I like them because again, it's like gets people to think, gets people to just have a good time, like to connect with with different people, all those types of things. So I don't know. I want to, yes, I do want to grow it, obviously, but I think I want to keep it where it is, where it's like it's nice, authentic self. Like it's not changing where it's like this huge fancy thing.
yes,
Do you know what I mean?
yes. Yeah,
In a way.
totally. Totally. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we like you said, who we are now is a safe space, and I think we we know the potential that it has, and I think you know firsthand the
Hmm.
potential that the podcast has, because I feel that you have that brain that just kind of like sees potential
Yeah.
in a lot of things, but you also have that mindset of like, okay, how to take action towards like something bigger. So to hear you
Hmm.
say that you're just okay, we're not sitting on it, but we're kind of like appreciating and just kind of like that's our little nest, and we're just like little,
Yeah.
we're just like making sure like it's still
It's just,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
ours. Yeah. And not like, I don't want it to become like this overwhelming project where it's like, oh my God, this is too much work. Like it's lot, do you know what I mean? And I think we definitely both felt that, I think a little bit this year. That's when we had our little break. But I think it's now just getting used to like, okay, where do we want to go? Where does our audience want it to go? Do they want us to do more live events? Do they want to hear more from us? Do you know what I mean? Like taking it slow, like not having to do like the most with it, but
Yes.
enough. Do you know what I mean? And that's big for
Yeah.
me to say that, because like usually I'd be like, right, let's go to every bloody country and do lives and do this. And like, oh my God, I'd be like, right, let's expand it everywhere. So I'm like, that's actually surprising if I'm honest, me saying that. But like, I think I felt it a lot this year where when I just took pressure off it and I was just like, just doing the podcast and it was what it was. It felt so much less. It just felt more
Right.
enjoyable.
Right. I think
Um,
if we continue being consistently on that same wavelength of like creating a safe space with people, which that what happened just very organically and very genuinely. I think the next step for us, like after safety comes empowerment, and I do want to tap more into it, but I think it's not going to be, it's just going to happen naturally. I think it's really going to happen naturally where
yeah.
like we grow as an individual, and like we just keep talking about it, and it just happened to like empower other people,
Mm,
because I'm sure watching it from a third party, right? Like watching it from the outsider, from season one episode one of Say More to today, or even meeting us in person and meeting us
mm-hmm.
now. I mean, the growth is different, but it's
Different.
right there. And I'm sure by your playlist, like by your playlist or Spotify, whatever, like there's a lot of things that show your growth. So whomever is listening to us right now, they've grown with us. But instead of like going to Say More podcast to just like feel safe or feeling like validated, or just like
Yeah.
looking at us from like a comparison purpose, and it's more like, okay, how can I go to Say More podcast and like really feel better, because that's what you do, that's what you do for me. I feel
Yeah.
that that's what the podcast does for me. And you pointed out, you were like, babe, when I look at you and like I feel like you're talking, like it really helps you to talk. And like that's probably the truth. Like I never
Mm,
realized that, because I would say like, oh my God, no. Like I feel like when I close myself is where I feel more empowered, and I
yeah.
keep myself more to myself. It's better. But you're like, no, I think when you talk, it's gonna be empowering yourself. So if it invites people to see both ends, like for you, it probably does something very different as far as like the podcast go. It probably touches
Mm-hmm.
like different things than it does for me. But I think everyone that is listening to us has to grab something that empowers them at the end of the day, because I always feel so good after a
Mm-hmm.
podcast. Like there's no podcast that didn't make me
Yeah.
feel good.
It's because you're speaking your truth. I feel like, especially with podcasts, it's easy to kind of like, some people don't like speaking, but I think because we've been doing it now for a while, you just kind of get into the mix of it now, where you're like, I just wanna. There's certain things that I want to get off my chest, and because it's the safe space that we have created, you feel okay saying it. That's what I feel like. Like I think at first maybe I was a bit like, oh, I don't know if we should say this or that or whatever, but now I'm like, I know my audience or the audience won't judge, or, oh, I don't know if that's a bit right. Like they will invite what I'm like talking about, and like be open about it and be like, okay, this is her opinion, this is my opinion. There's no like, oh, direct judgment. You know what I mean? Like I don't ever feel judged speaking to you or speaking to like anyone on here. It's just, I'm just talking, people are listening, and like I know people would relate in some respects.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So it feels safe for me as well, to be fair. Like it just feels safe for me to talk on this podcast. Whereas sometimes, obviously, it's easy to talk, and then sometimes you're like, oh, I don't want to say that. Like you hear, when you're sometimes like your monologue in your head is like, oh, don't say that. Like I'll just be a fountain of I'll just keep talking. I won't like shut up. So I feel
To
safe
just
enough to
to
just do that
say
though.
things,
Feels
say
nice.
have a safe place to just say more. That's period. Period, Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's
Yes.
yeah.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly
So we're just
that.
gonna say more in 2025. Like get
Aww.
ready to hear more because we're gonna say more.
Literally.
That's all.
Exactly. We're gonna be saying so much more. So, okay. Are you ready? We're not gonna go through every single one because I want to keep some of the stuff
Let's just put
private.
like one
But
highlight for each.
um yes, one highlight because I've got like
Oh
fucking
my God, of
500
course you
on like
have. I
each
have like
one.
three.
So, okay. Yeah. So, okay, so we'll go through the first one. Like, who are you right now? So, like,
Mhm.
home and travel. What sums you up kind of like now for
Okay,
that
so I
respect?
basically said where I am now. I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
I'm in an Airbnb, YOLO. I'm in an Airbnb
Yeah.
in,
Woo.
a place in Florida that I really do enjoy, and that's where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Traveling
Yeah.
wise, I still have like I can't travel outside the US. So these are the two
Mm-hmm.
things that I've put as far as and also
Mm-hmm.
trip. Like I don't have anything planned for the rest of the year. So that's basically what it is. But then
Yeah.
my next trip is um for a business thing, but I didn't put it on there. So like home and travel, where I am now, and when
No,
yes, but in
that's where you are.
2025, I can travel.
Yeah.
I did it. I said I can travel, and
Yep.
I did. I went home and I did other travel that I wanted to. Maybe found a solid ground somewhere. Stay open to the possibility because
Mm-hmm.
the world is open, but making sure that I am settled in for the next chapter. That's exactly, wait, like that's
Yeah.
exactly what I wrote.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. Oh my God, I fucking love that. I really like the context of how you've spoken like as yourself, like moving forwards. I think I really like that a lot. I'm definitely gonna have to do that because I like that analogy a lot. So I've put who I am right now, travel. Obviously, I live in Dubai and I love it, but it doesn't 100% always feel like home. So it doesn't always feel like home yet. And I have felt like that because I feel like it's because I travel a lot and I'm not here for as long as I could be. So I think this extended I've been here now for the last like literally like 3 months like solidly like without leave 2 months without solidly leaving, and I'm obviously leaving next week to go to the UK, but this has been the most consistent
Mm.
where it's felt like home. Like it feels nice now, but it could be more. Like I know it's not like always like I'm sometimes home I'm like it doesn't feel like home, although we did like I got a new rug, we got some paintings for the walls, and that does wonders for making it feel like I come into the living room now and I see the paintings. I got them from Ghana and we put them up, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with my new little
Beautiful.
rug that I have on my
Blessed.
floor. Like, it's so silly. Like, those things make you feel like home. Like, that, it's so silly. Like, I don't know. But doing little more things like that, I think, is my thing for 2025 for sure. And then travel, I feel comfortable with obviously traveling, and like I enjoy it, and like moving forwards with that in 2025, I don't want to try and pressure myself to travel, like have to travel. Like I want to travel, obviously. So our goals are kind of like opposite in a way. I'm like, I want to travel and enjoy, but I don't want to do it to the point where I did it this year, where I did it too much, or not this year, but last year. I did it too much. And then I'm like exhausted and it takes me however long to recover. So I'm like, I put know your limits when it comes to travel. Cause I'll easily just like book trips, be gone for 3 months, like here, there, and everywhere, living out suitcase, and then I'm like, I'm fucked, like I'm tired. So knowing your limits with travel, and then yeah, making your house more a home or you're making your apartment more a home in 2025,
Yeah.
moving forwards for
Yeah.
Dubai.
So I would,
So
yeah,
yeah,
no,
that's what I've got
and
so
I
far.
would add to that, like, I mean, obviously it's hand in hand. Like knowing your limits for traveling and make yourself home, it's probably gonna go be hand in hand at some point. So,
Yeah,
um, so
exactly.
yeah. Okay, cool. No, I love that.
I like that though. Okay, do you want to skip the finances one? Because I've been gone a bit too like in depth with that one. I mean, you can if you want to,
I
but I've gone.
think,
We can,
um, yeah,
or we can. There's one I can actually say. Actually, to
okay.
be fair, that I don't mind saying. So finances wise, finances. I mean, I'm comfortable. You know, like I feel comfortable with my finances. But I want to get to a place where, especially being self-employed, this is something that I always have thought about that I just need to be more consistent with, is investing more in terms of and doing more for the future of what we do moving forwards. Because yes, I have savings, but savings when I'm like literally not able to work type vibes, that's what I'm like, right,
Okay.
that's 2025 goal. Like that's what I have in mind of me wanting to move
Sick.
forwards with finances
Sick.
and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm comfortable at the moment, but I want
Eh,
to invest more. That's like
yeah.
wrapped up into a
Investing
little
more
parcel.
into clear goals, right? Like that would be say. Like that, it's funny
Yeah.
because that's kind of like where I'm heading. Um, I kind of said, okay, finances, like I have X amount of paid monthly sponsorship, but in 2025, I want to start having like clear goals and being well aware of how
Mm-hmm.
my money is kept, like through like bookkeeping probably,
Yeah.
and just having very
Yeah.
specific
Yeah. Yeah.
investments, where okay, I'm investing in
Mm-hmm.
this little piggy bank for traveling, for this specific travel. Like I just
Yeah.
want to be able to just be so particular with my goals and so clear. I think clarity is going to be my best friend, for
Yeah.
2025, into like, doing all this
Mm-hmm.
introspection that I'm doing right now. And we'll get into it, but just getting clarity, I think it's just
Mm-hmm.
so helpful. Um, Even for you, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like you felt like you put a rug in your house and you put, Ghana like art on the walls that made you feel more at home. But why did it make you feel more at home? Because once you figure out why, which I think
Mm-hmm.
it makes you feel at home, because now you have something that like a sort of attachment to the house, because you're attached to those pieces of art and like they're exposed in your house. So that attachment, okay,
Yeah.
how can you repeat this attachment over and over again? It's probably not going to be like always art, but it's like creating more attachment and invest in more different attachment that you want to have. Mm.
No, 100%. No, I love that. And it's literally like dissecting your why and like saying like, why did that like you said, why did that make you feel more at home? Because, those are things that I bought myself. We put up because we had like my little Arnold's winning thing from the UK from 2021 up on the wall. And like that always gave me like so much joy looking at that. And then I was like, oh, but this blank wall is like, I feel like something needs to be here. And like, it just gives you just that little bit of joy because it's yours. I think that's what it came down to when it came down to home for me. It was like, this is mine. So like, and I can see that and it's always there. And it reminds me of like the trip that I went on and it was such a great
Yes.
time and like little things like that. I think
Aw.
that's why it makes me feel more at home, and especially because it's away, like you're away from family and all that type of thing. But no, I agree with the finances thing. I think that's I want more clarity with where my investments are going for sure. And I think next year will be like, for me it's like investing in pension and investing potentially in houses and those types of things I want to try and move towards, because that always scares me. I don't know if it scares you, but like I always get so worried about like being self-employed because we don't have like pensions. Like we have obviously savings and all that type of things and investments that we make, but there's no pension. So when you can't work anymore, and that's what I want to try and be more clear of where, like, I know, okay, I feel comfortable that I have this amount of money when I'm older to not stress. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like the older you get, those are the things you kind of have to worry about. And you're like, oh, this is hard, but
Yeah,
like
I
you have
mean,
to do it,
I think understanding finance is very important, and I'm so lucky because my entire family are legit in finance. So like that's pretty much all we talk about. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
how much, we all have like portfolios, right? And every single morning, I'm like, Mom, how many times do you look at your portfolio? She looks at her portfolio 3 times a day. I look at it like once every like 3 months. Like I don't, it's, I
What,
mean, I
her
would
bank
say
account? Her bank
they have a
account, like
portfolio like an
statement, or like,
investment, and then they have their bank account. But she
oh,
probably
okay,
works like her bank
yes.
account. Her bank account won't really change, but because she has all her things very organized. But like
No.
investment is where like they're playing with stocks and everything. So like my brothers are doing that right now.
Yeah.
So every morning I wake up to Air Canada stocks, da da da, or like this thing, da da da. Like this is what our family chat is like 90% considered about. So like
Oh
understanding
my
finance, because
God.
we, like when we grow up, like we're not teach that at school at all, like how to finance or how to put money on the side. Like
No,
is it a good market? Like I love when I hear
no.
people talking and be like, oh, it's a buyer market now, buyer's market. It's like, okay, yeah, it's a buyer's market, and I could say that it's a buyer's market right now for the house property, which I it sounds like real estate is always like the next big step for you to have. Like, okay, you have real estate now, like yeah, you have businesses, but you have real estate, and that's where you really make the money. But if you don't really understand the nitty gritty of, okay, it's a buyer's market, like what exactly does that mean? Like, do I have enough money for that? Is it better for me to just rent and put
Mm-hmm.
my money into stocks right now? Like, it's all these assessment that it's homework. Like it's legit homeworks. And like when I have calls with my brother, like when
Yeah.
we're like, okay, are you ready to talk about money? I'm just like, well, no, I'm 6 weeks out from the Arnold. Can we just hold this conversation when I'm actually having like cognitive like sharpness, when we can actually talk about it? But yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
it's just like finding the right
Yeah.
person to talk to. And it's funny because sometimes like I have I speak to my bankers here, and then I always like talk to my brothers after, because my brothers have been like in the customer service side of banking, and they're just like, they're just trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. This is actually really good. You should do that. Or like, here's what you should do with your money to like invest it and like optimize it more. So like I find those conversations so
Mm-hmm.
insightful, but at the same time it's always like kind of like, okay, how much attention do you pay to your finance? Because I'm also like very free living, and in my opinion, like I am going to buy the happy eggs even though they're $10 like at Whole Foods. Like I will, because like the amount of happiness this
Yeah.
bring me. But then talking to my mom about this, she's just like, Lauralie, it's literally just eggs. Like you can go to Walmart and it will be the same egg. And I'm just like we're just I'm like, it's not
It's
like
not the
it's not the
same.
same. So I don't know. I find it really interesting to know about your finance. So like you said, like having pension, like it is a risk, but seeing everything that happened with pension and with like bank and like people like in the bank or whatever, like they just take every money of people and like they just have
Yeah.
no money to retire. I'm just like, wait, is pension like really the real strategy right now? Is it like what's you need to know? It's like
This
you
is what
need
I
to know.
mean. This is what I mean. It's figure that's what I mean. It's figuring out what's the best moving forwards for when I do retire, and that's what I want to
Having a
start
plan.
like moving
Yeah,
towards
having a plan.
figuring out. Yeah, figuring it out, because it stresses me out. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I have no, like, not no, but like I'm like, I have no pension. I have no thing, because in my mind, my dad has a pension. Like that's Max's family has a pension. All those types of things. So my family, that's what they have. They're not into like stocks and all those types of things. So in
Yes.
my head, what I've been taught is that, but I know that's not the only way either. So I'm like, I now need to go out and like do the homework and say, okay, what is actually more beneficial? Because I was speaking about this to one of my friends, and she was like, you may as well like invest into like a house or something like that, and you can either repurpose it, you can either do it up, sell it, you can either become a lodger, like something like that is more beneficial sometimes than an actual pension. And I'm like, oh, don't throw that into the
No,
mix, because that's more stress and more think. Do you know what I mean? So
and
it's
and
it's
and
it's
bless
figuring it
bless your
out, you
friend.
know.
I think that's great to have friends that put their input, but babe,
Gives
go
options.
seek like the right information. Like God forbid, same thing with coaching. Like
Yeah,
you guys need to
exactly.
like take advice from people that are actually it together. Like would you take marriage advice from someone that
Hmm.
is divorced? You wouldn't, or like would you? Not really. So like take it
No.
from
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. And like um I'm lucky enough, if you want help, like I'll hook you up with my brother. Like my brother have it pretty much together.
Yeah, I
and you
know.
know
I'm now
how
like, okay, cool.
and you know
I
how my
need your
brothers
brother's
would be like,
number
he'd be like, well,
immediately.
listen, like I don't have really like insights of like Dubai, but here is like here are the location. Like he would send you the phone number, like here's who you need to call to like figure out what you need to do. And like he would give you like the government number, he would give you this. He'd like ask this, ask that to have like really like the tone of what it is. But they're doing this full time now and they really
Yeah.
enjoy it. But thank God I have that because otherwise, I don't know, you know.
It's good. It's good to have those things, though. It is good to have those things, though, honestly. So, okay, so then we've got business and career. So, who are you right
It's
now for
we
business
touched
and
base a little bit
career?
on that, but mostly an endorsed athlete. I have a lot of
Yeah.
sponsorship that depends on things that I can't really always control. So it does put me in a position where I still need to show up. I was faced with something last year, and I think we spoke about it a little bit, where um some of my sponsor deliverables started to be way less authentic than it used to be. So it was like, okay, here is the beverages that you need to, showcase. And I understand where they're coming from. They're coming from where like we're paying athletes where you guys are doing marketing for us and we want to market the specific product. So with that being said, sometimes either it's with clothing brand, I'm always like I always come from a very grateful place, obviously, that I'm able to do that. Like I really don't want anyone to be twisting and be like, okay, but you still have that. I understand, but I also understand that I've grown my community by staying extremely real and authentic, and for me to promote a certain set where I wouldn't promote it necessarily if it wasn't from like a certain deliverable. So I had to have those like hard talk with my sponsors, like where it's either like, okay, well, Lauralie, like this is how we
Yeah.
function now, and this is our method of working, and be like, well, it does it work for me or does it work for me? Like, is there a compromise that we can make? And fortunately enough, I was able to make compromise because sponsors that I've been working with for a long, long time sees the value and they also understand where I'm coming from. And it's like it brings like a fresh of breath air also to just be like, wow, Lauralie is like solid on her
Yeah.
grounds of
Yeah.
like, I'm just only gonna promote what I'm actually wearing to the gym. Like you're not gonna see me do only one outfit just because. So, and I mean, I mean, I think it happened like one time where like I really felt uncomfortable like wearing that outfit. It was just like a very short outfit, and I was just not thriving in my body, and I'm like, I'm living this lie, I'm
Yeah.
posting this lie, like, but I like I'm also
Yeah.
like thinking so
And
deep
I
about
don't
it.
want
It's like, okay,
to.
well, people like, they're gonna call you bloated, but you're gonna call you out on like your shape. But at the end of the day, like the outfit is still bomb. And like, can I agree that the outfit is still bomb? Like, absolutely. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, suck it up for this one. But then I had to talk
Yeah.
to them and I was like, okay, this like made me feel so uncomfortable. And I'm not sure I'm ready to like do that uncomfortable thing for X amount of money again. So like let's be for real. Let's keep on,
Yeah.
having what I used to do in the past. And I think you were like, oh my God, yeah, totally. Like I see where you're coming from. And so I have this leeway as far as sponsorship goes. But 2025, I definitely won want something for like for myself. Either it's like tangible asset, like 100%, where it might take investment, and like me not being scared and investing something like you did for your portal, like investing into like having your own app. I'm not saying it's going to be an app, but investing and be like, okay, I'm actually putting like my hard-earned money into something that will be fruitful and mind, that's the
Mine.
biggest word, um that's that's where I see myself in 2025, like finally something tangible. That's how I wrote it. Finally something tangible slash passive income that requires you to better yourself daily, share empowerments to human that can relate. You have good network around you, and you can retire now if you wanted to. That's how I wrote it.
Love that. Oh my god, I love that. Yeah, I think, but again, it's like you said, like it's yes, you have some amazing amazing deliverables in terms of like, sponsors, you have, things going on, like, but like you said, there is also, it is consistent, but it also cannot be as well at the same time. So it can change, and you want something that you can put your heart and soul into, so it's yours. Like you said before, I love that you put that, because I think it's so easy to kind of like say like, oh, I want these things, but like, do I actually want to put the hard work and effort into it? Because it's a lot of work. Like, to make something completely
Yes.
yours is so much hard work, without obviously having anyone else attached, because it's all on you. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's really cool that you've like stepped out and said like, yeah, this is what I want to do now. Like, that's so doable. It's so doable for 2025. It's
Yes,
actually
and
just
I
having the
mean,
belief
we
system
spoke
to do
about
it,
this. You spoke to me
for
about this
sure.
for the last 3 years of my life, and I feel like there's a lot of people around me
Yeah.
that, sees the potential. But that's also gonna tie into the personal development. It's like, okay, how can I see the potential that I see in other people, but I see it for myself? That's gonna be one other thing. But what do you, baby, give me, what do you
Yeah,
have? Like, I
100%.
love talking about these things with you because you're obviously
So yeah, this is fun. This is so fun. Okay, so career, because obviously we had that thing before where I was like, career and business is different. So I kind of put them into two. So I've looked at
okay.
it, my career in bodybuilding, and then just business in general. So who I am right now is like, my career with bodybuilding is, I am still the best bikini girl in
Hell
the
yeah.
UK, and I'm proud of that shit. That's literally what I've put, because for me this year, I definitely went through a phase of like, I felt like I let my country down a lot this year for not competing, which is so silly that I felt like that. But I would tell myself that a lot of the time, where I felt like, oh, even though I still did great this year, I still competed at both of the Arnolds, I still did great, I still represented my country well. But because I'm not competing for the rest of the year, and maybe not next year either, that's not a bad thing. And I think, again, it's like, that devil and angel kind of vibe where I'm like, oh, no, it's fine. Like, it's good to take time off, all that type of thing. And then the devil's like, oh,
Mm,
you're not representing your country well. You're not competing for it. And like, do you know what I mean? So that monologue sometimes does go through my head still. But I wrote down like, I'm still the best, best bikini girl in the UK. And I'm proud of that shit, because I am. And I don't say it enough. I think I don't ever say it. And I say that sometimes with like,
yes, with
biting
your
my
chest
tongue, but I
open.
should be
Hell
loud and
yeah.
proud with it, because I am.
Yes.
So that's where I am now with career. And then for career, obviously, who I want to be in 2025 is, obviously, I want to work towards loving my career again, and it being something that I enjoy. Because again, obviously, well, we've spoken about it many times before, where I feel like this has felt more like, obviously, yes, it feels like work, but obviously a lot more unenjoyable, to the point where I don't want to do it. I want to get it back to a place where I feel like it's enjoyable, and it's not about what happens on stage when it comes to placings. It's about the love of the sport, and bringing back, okay, I'm bringing my best to stage. Like, the whole point I started bodybuilding was to better myself. And it got tied up with, okay, I need to get top 5. I need to get top 3 now. I need to get top 10 at the Olympia. I need to represent my country. And it became too entwined with what happens up there versus then
Yes.
actually what I take up there. So I want to bring it back. I want to bring it back to that. I want to bring it back to, I want to enjoy this career path that I'm on, because like, I don't know how long this career is obviously going to last. So I want to like enjoy every moment of it, and bring it back to what I actually entered this sport for, which was obviously bettering myself. So that's what I've got written down for career. And then business, who I am right now is obviously, like, I love my career. I love my business that I have at the moment, and I
Sick.
just want to grow it.
Sick.
Honest, that's pretty much what I've literally wrote. Like, there's so many things that I had, like ideas that I have, and I just want to try and make that happen, and like grow it as much as I can in terms of the portal, doing things also away from bodybuilding as well, like doing potentially, online coaching maybe, or like doing something different. Like, doing something different away from bodybuilding is also a goal of 2025. So I have something else, versus just having the portal. So that's what I have for
Yes.
both of those,
Keep
two, career
pouring.
and
Keep
business
pouring. I'm gonna add something. I'm gonna
ventures.
add something because I feel like it's gonna
Yes.
benefit you and also like anyone who's listening. Um, I find it so beautiful when you said like, when you enter the sport of bodybuilding was just to like better yourself. And then you want to bring back like the love, and then it got lost with like placings and all this stuff. And I think the journey of bettering ourselves, like throughout life, like that should be our only purpose. It's like always bettering ourselves, and through different avenues, there are different
Mm-hmm.
roads that we have. And I think bodybuilding is just one road that you have, but you have to keep that same road, that the essence of that road is bettering yourself all the time. And it should never be like that. Same thing with business, right? Like business should
Mm-hmm.
always be like, okay, I'm on that road of bettering myself, and there's this business venture that comes along, and that's the human experience, right? Like there's this experience that comes along with bodybuilding. Like it's just a
Mm-hmm.
series of experience where you can better yourself through it, but you have to keep in your core that you're going to love it through it, you're going to enjoy it through it, and you're going to find joy through it, because you're on that path of bettering yourself. And I think you step away from that path the second that you have different markers, whether it's just like weight thing. Like, is that going to better yourself to like reach a certain weight? Like, not really. Like, is it going to be bettering yourself if you have
Mm-hmm.
like a different car? Like, not really. Like, it's so yeah, I just feel like staying on that highway called bettering yourself, and just you have experience that comes through you, you should just take it like wholeheartedly if you feel like it's going to better yourself, period, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, 100%. And I like that because I think, again, we get into the sport because we want to obviously that we get into the sport because we love the self development that it has, the traits it has, the habits it has, and sometimes it does get lost because you see success and you see how well you can do it, and you're like, okay, I want to win, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and that's fine. But if it then loses, like I don't not agree with saying I want to win, I want to do this, I want to do that. I think that's great because that's your vision of what you want to do. Like I'm sure you've said for years, I want to win Miss Olympia, I want to win Miss Olympia, but you've never lost who you are when you came into the sport, which was still bettering yourself, still doing things. Like it's not like you didn't give up when you didn't win Miss Olympia that first year. You said, okay, let's see what I can do to better myself next year, and like keep going with it until I get that goal. That's how it came about. Versus, I think for me, it just lost my entire purpose of what I was doing it for. I was only doing it to then try and get into top 10. I was only doing it to try and get into top 5,
Yeah,
and like I wasn't
yeah,
happy. And then I was doing it for what, you know? So that's what I think. That's what I want to find because I know I
yes,
fucking love bodybuilding. When I talk about it, I get so much passion for it and I love it. But I know I just need that still
yes,
time away from it. So I have the true like what I actually do it for. Like it needs to be purposeful versus it just
yeah. And
being
maybe it's
basics. Like I
gonna
need to get
come
rid of
back
that,
at you, and you're
you
gonna
know?
experience it through like a different way, you know? Who knows? Who knows? Yes.
Differently.
Because you're
Yeah.
definitely
I hope so. I
bettering
hope
yourself
so.
right now. Like, I mean,
So,
I see it
okay.
every time that we jump on the podcast, like the how much
Yeah.
like work you're actually doing, because it shows. So through that highway, because I feel like things move fast when you actually realize that you're on that way, and you're actually investing into bettering yourself and doing things that are constantly
Yeah.
aligned with that, and you take accountability and all this stuff. So I'm curious to
Hmm.
see how, bodybuilding, if it comes back around, like how you're going to experience it now in your life. So I'm really excited for that for you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited if I'm honest. I think it'll be different. I think it'll be
Hmm.
different, more different than I think. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. So, okay. So we've got relationships. So we've got that can be family, friends, partners. I think the one that I kind of mainly put that was like at the top um was who I am right now is I love my family, but I want to be closer to them more. Like I want to be more close to them in terms of like helping them with other things. So for example, like if my sister needs anything, which I do anyway, but I think I want to do more. Like I feel like I want to be there more, but obviously I'm not there. So it this one's a bit tough because it's kind of like I can do it, but I also can't. I can give them my time more. And that's what I want to try and do more than anything. I can't obviously be there physically, like there all the time, but I want to give them more of my time. So like if my sister, messages me saying, "Hey, you free? This is this." I'll try and make more time for that versus going, "Oh, I'm busy, I can't." can we do this day instead? Do you know what I mean? Like I want to try and
Oh, that's
be
beautiful.
more
Like,
available if they need me. Um,
okay.
and kind of the same with friends, if I'm
Yeah.
honest, like similar to friends, but
Always.
obviously to the right
Always.
friends, obviously. But I'm like, otherwise I'm just giving my time away and I'm like, cool, yeah, I'm just like doing whatever. Cause like it's easy to people please, you know? But I think like what I've written down for like friends is like being a better friend in terms of like, you know, knowing what's going on in their life more. Because I think one of my friends, I know I have a voice note from one of my best friends. She lives in Australia at the moment. And I know it's like a 6 minute voice note that she's kind of updated me on doing those things. And it sat there for like a good 5 days. Cause I know I need to sit down and listen and then reply straight away. I can't listen to it and then like reply later because I'll forget all of it. Do you know what I mean? But I need to
Yes.
actually give myself like just sit down and listen. Do you know what I mean? Like I wanna be more like I wanna be a better friend so I can keep up to date with more
Yes. I
of what's
think
going on in their
you're gonna have
lives.
to find
Do
a
you know what I
way
mean?
because let's say you're away, like you said, your family, like you're not there, but how can your presence be felt as extremely
Yeah.
present? Because I think you're very present in a lot of people's life. And I always feel like you're present in my life. Like I consider you as like one of my close friends. And I think you do have those friendship and you do have those relationship, but maybe it's something that you personally feel like your presence can be even more. And in what, is it like a direct line? Is it like, hey, I really want to be more present for you to your sister, and
Yeah.
you're like, the best way would be for us to like have this app, I don't, like, who knows, it's like finding ways to like have your presence
Yeah, like
be
yeah.
more felt per se. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's sick. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. You're so hard on yourself because you're such a good friend, dude.
Yeah.
You're such a
So
good
that's
friend.
my one for
Yeah.
really.
You're hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
But yeah, that's what I've written down for relationships and stuff. And I mean, let's keep the partner stuff separate because I feel like there's a few things with partners and
I
stuff
mean,
that
there
I'm
you
like,
go.
I
There you
want to
go.
keep that
That's
private.
your
And
2000
we've just,
things in private
yeah,
is
keeping it more
chef's
private.
kiss. We love privacy. Privacy is great. But obviously, I wish you guys the best because I love you guys together,
Exactly.
obviously. I love you guys individually, but I love you also guys together. I think you guys have a beautiful relationship. So I'm wishing you both the best for that. That's really cool.
Yeah, of course. So what's your relationships when it comes to friends and family in terms
So
of
who I
who
am right
you are right
now
now
as a
to who you want to
friend,
be?
I try not to miss a birthday, which is like it's great for me. Like that's how far you and I like are as far as friendship. It's like, okay, how can I feel like be more present? It's like, okay, I'm not gonna miss a birthday. Like I really am trying to like wish happy birthday to like coworkers,
Yeah.
acquaintances, like just kind of like notice that day. I don't know. That's like a relationship.
No, but being more noticeable in like the special moments in those people's lives. Like I get that, to be fair. To be fair, I actually did write birthdays,
Yeah.
send cards, voice
I
notes
love
on catch ups.
that.
That's what I
See, there's
put
like
as like
so
a
many
sub
different ways.
note
We're
thing.
so lucky to have like the ability to like have internet and our cell phone and top of our hands to like talk to people. Um, so go back. I'm reading at the same time. I have it right in front of me, that board. I was go back. What thought I? Oh, okay. No, I'm reading. No, guys, I'm reading the relationship thing. As
You're
for
like, I didn't
friendship, I
understand that.
want to. Okay, there's like some relationships that I do want to rekindle, like kind of like set a time to talk. And
Okay.
I call it like owning up to my shit. And I feel like
Yeah.
that happened to me. Like maybe like there's two times that I really remember things because I was going off like someone else's narrative, one time I was just like, wait a second, why am I not friend with this person anymore? Like what happened, right? Like, and I went up and I called it, okay, let me own up to my shit. And
Yeah.
that's I really like, went to the person and be like, hi, I would like to own up to my shit right now. Like, what happened? And like we were able to like actually talk like human beings. So like I think that there's a couple, not a
Yes.
couple. There's one big one that I do want to talk about and reassess. And then whomever I that show case in my life, like allowing allowing what it's taking like 90% of my time right now in a relationship, like to flip that around, like take the 10% and the
Mm-hmm.
10% like really investing into that 10% like wholeheartedly,
Uh-huh.
and and try to reassess my
Mm-hmm.
priorities with
Mm-hmm.
just the people that I have around me. And so yeah, so that's for 2025.
Yeah.
Investing into the 10% that makes my heart and
I think
soul
that's
at
good though.
peace. And I said I feel bigger than myself. I don't know if that makes sense. 2025, I feel bigger than myself, like meaning like I like, oh my God, I feel so loved. I have like so many friendships. Like my uh, yeah, I don't know if that's
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Talking
no,
yourself
it's
up, like talking
I like
yourself
when in
up. Is that what you mean?
2025 I
Bigging
want to be
yourself
like,
up in
wow,
a
like
way?
I feel
Kind of?
bigger than myself. Like it's I'm not like, oh, I'm not I have,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Phoebe as a
yeah.
friendship, but it's like, no, we actually have a fucking solid friendship. It's like,
You
wow.
can,
Like, wow.
yeah, you can appreciate the things, you can see the bigger things within the relationships versus kind of like, so like you said, like relationship. Oh yeah, I have Phoebe as a friend, but no, I actually really
It's
appreciate this friendship
big. Yeah, yeah,
because of
yeah.
this. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of see the bigger picture in
Like,
the relation. Yeah, the bigger picture in the relationships. I like that. I think because it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, I have friends, but how do those friends make you feel? Again, it's just diving into all those little things. Like, how do those friends make you feel? Like,
yes,
what are all the things that you love about the friendships that you have and the relationships you have and the family members that make you feel great? Like, it's easy to say, yeah, I have a sister, yeah, I have a brother, but like, no, I have a sister that like makes me feel like this and speaks to me like this, and it's
yes,
yeah,
yes,
speaking
yes.
bigger in a bigger
Bigger,
picture about
bigger,
them. I like
better,
that.
like more love. Like,
I like that.
yeah, I think friendships are so beautiful. And I think, for so many times the podcast, I was like, oh, but I don't have any friends. I don't want to say that because it's not true. Like I do have friends, and I met one of my friends from high school, and I was like, wait, you were gonna like
Hmm.
come and not tell me? She was like, yeah, but I know you're busy. And I was like, wait, what? Like it was so sad to me. And she was like, thank you so much for showing up. I was
Oh,
like, but like, what? Like,
yeah.
yes. And like she sent me like all, babe, she
What do you
sent
mean? Why
me,
would I not? Yeah.
God bless her. Like she had all of our pictures, all of our letters that we wrote to each other. She still had them and she sent it to me. And I was like, oh my God, like I had a sister. And like I freaking what? Like this is such a big relationship, and it's such a big
That's
friendship,
so sweet.
and seeing them as they are, like it's
Yeah.
not nothing, and same thing. Yeah, and it's not just a brother. Like no, I have
Just a friend.
like,
Yeah.
damn, I have the support of my brother. Like I have love for my brother. Like I
Mm,
know I can count on them. Like that's so beautiful. And I want this to be like, I want this to be so big around me and be like, wow,
mm,
this is bigger than I could actually like ever ask for, because it's the love. It's so big. The support is so big. Like what you
yeah.
give me is so big. And I want to like constantly acknowledge that and just be like on that wavelength. And I
Yeah.
definitely added like relationship
No, I
with
love that.
God.
I
And
think
like
that's
I feel so
nice.
like
I think that's really
silly talking
nice.
about this because it's not really like religious thing, but I've met like a lot of um people that are close to God, and I just feel like there's this relationship that I do want to
Mm-hmm.
lean into, just for just to find some kind of peace,
Mm-hmm.
and to surrender. Like I found a lot
Mm-hmm.
of time this year. I was able to find stillness and like peace into like stillness, and not doing anything but just being still at some point, or just being content with like with just life that offers you. And I think um
Mm-hmm.
I just find it so beautiful when someone talks to me, and he or she is a woman or like a man of God, and they're just like, again, they're just bigger than themselves because they have that relationship. And I just find it really, really
Yeah.
beautiful, and I always feel like I'm running shy of it, just because I feel like it's such a skill. And like, I mean, if you and I speak about Jackson, right? Like He's
Yeah.
so
I
like he's 22 years old. Bless him. And
yeah.
he's just so, and you would see him
He's
now
so
and it's just
full.
like wow, wow.
It's the same. Yeah. But I think the reason you feel like it's quote unquote silly from what you said is because it's not new, but like it's something you've never delved into before. So you're not like it's not like you're not sure about it, but it's trying to experience those new things and like it's very different to what you're used to. So I think it's just getting used to the idea of having that system constantly and allowing yourself to, like you said, to let go and be like, whatever happens, happens. It's
Yeah.
okay. I've done what I can, and the rest is up to God. Do you know what I mean? And like having that belief system, I think once you let go to that, or like just have that system, I think you will really tap
Yes.
into it,
It's
and
like
you'll be
surrendering,
okay
but
with saying that. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? Um, but it's hard. Yeah, it's hard though, because you're also still kind of it's new. Like you said, it's
There's
new
just,
still. You're
yeah,
still
there's just
like,
like no
I
levels
don't
to
know
it.
how to
And the way
feel
that you
still
just put it, like
about it. You
when
know?
you're in a different place, like right now, right? I would need to find a church. And it's like, okay, when I spoke to friends, like they're like, oh, but I found this church, like I really like it. I'm like, wait, like how do you go by finding a church? But it's like the same way that you find a gym. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you go and like you like the fact. But I love
Yeah.
watching on Sunday now. It's very a reflex for me. Like I cannot wait to watch a live like Stephen Furtick. Like that's the first place I go, and I really try. And I'm not even trying now. It's kind of like coming to me. But like,
Yeah.
where does it happen? Where like you actually open like your Bible in the morning and you do like constant prayers. And I was raised in like a Catholic home, and like we used to pray like before bed with my parents, and then it kind of got lost. So it's the same thing as just like a
Mhm.
routine. Like it's a, I guess it's a relationship. It takes work. So that's that. That's that.
Yeah. It does. And I like that. I like that you've put that though. I think that's really nice that you've put that because again, it's something that you want to again, you wouldn't have
Oh,
put it
that's
down
true.
if you weren't thinking about it. I think that's good that you were already thinking about it. So you're like, yep, let's put it down. So that's cool. Yeah, it's good. And this is why I like it because sometimes you will put like there's loads of stuff that I put down randomly, but I put them down because I'm like they're in my head. So I know that that's something I probably potentially want to think about because it's something I've thought about. So I'm putting it down. If it's something that I don't improve, it's something I
Yes,
don't improve, but
yes.
it's something I do want to reflect on. Do you know what I mean? Um, so yeah. So then we've got
Go ahead.
personal development, and I, f- I feel like who I am now. I've put like I don't know why I've put it like this, but I feel like which it sounds so sad, but like it's not that bad. I feel like I like her, but I want to
Babe.
love her in terms of me myself. So like I like her, I'm happy with it, and don't get me wrong, I think this isn't. I'm in a lot better place now than where I was. So I think
Yes.
why I've written this is because I really wasn't happy with myself. And I think I'm still in that place where
Okay.
I am really happy, but I can still probably dip back down to where I was. So I think I'm like, I like her, I'm happy
A
with
whole
her, but I
10.
want to love her. Like I want to love myself again where I mean yeah a whole time like I'm like I feel confident like I'm a very confident person but I'm also not at the same time do you know what I mean like and I think we all are but there's also things that I'm like I am but I'm also not. I
Through
want to
and
try and
through.
like be like no I'm
Yes.
fully like fucking happy that I'm confident and I want to be like do you know what I mean I want to be that person. I've always wanted to be that person, so I think that's something I just need to lean into more. um I know that I have like personal development wise, I think I have definitely tapped into like believing myself more, like way more, but it still needs work. Like it still needs work. There's still times where I'm like, oh, what happened? Like, I don't believe in this. And I can't like confidently say things like that I've done because I don't believe it will happen. So it's like
Sick. Okay.
that I want to break
Okay,
through
sick.
still. I
I
still
love
want to
that you
break through
share with
that
us like what it is that
really
you
quite a large
actually
one.
want to
Yeah.
break through, because the other side is going to be so fucking bright. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like the moment that you break through that. But just acknowledging it and knowing that is what
So
you need
yeah.
to go through, I like that's already like half the battle, right? Like I mean, the rest is the hardest, which is like going through it. But then you can start, then you
Exactly.
can really start like looking for the tools. And I
That's
really
the
like, I see you,
hardest.
babe. Like I fucking see you get the tools like to be in order to like break through the things and doing all the things. And I think that's what's the
Mm.
most empowering thing. It's seeing you picking up and like doing what you need to do. Yeah, try.
Trying is the main
Oh,
thing, is actually trying to do it, because
babe.
sometimes it's so easy to self-sabotage because you're like, you literally believe that you're worthy of less. That's where it gets to.
Yeah,
Sometimes you believe
yeah.
that you're worthy of less, so you don't even try. You give up trying, you know. So yeah, but it's not there, it's not there. And like I think when I read that, I was looking at, like I said, I was looking at my past self, I think back in summer and stuff, and I think I'm definitely not that person anymore, but I do, there's still
That one
work,
is
you know.
so big
So
for me.
yeah.
Okay,
What's
so
yours?
who I am now, made the call to go back to therapy. So I have my appointment. I'm watching different podcasts,
Hmm.
a different preacher, but also different entertainment. Um, less practicing detachment. Communication skills are still 2 out of 10 with like a sad face.
Yeah. 2 out of 10. Oh, I love that. I love that we can laugh about this as well.
Whatever.
We're like,
Yes.
ah, this is so funny. But in a good way. In a good way. It's a good way that you're, like we said, it's acknowledgement, making sure that we can
I
obviously move
am
forwards from it and moving better, which is good.
leaning and learning. Okay. Um, and then
Hmm.
2025, you trust yourself. You have mistakes to embrace and to laugh about. Laugh, LOL. Um, you grow mentally for the past 10 years of
Mm.
dissociations of your fucking life. My playlist has changed. You're more assertive
Oh
from
God.
all that you know. So assertiveness is how I express myself. So communication would be better because I
Hmm.
know more myself. Um, you love more, you smile more, and you feel like yourself.
Yes.
Your communication has improved tremendously where
Hmm.
you're invited to talk raw and real, and you can rewatch yourself on like content that you actually do. Yeah.
Yes. I love that. Oh my God, I love all of what you've said. Like that's, and I like again how you've spoken, like you've spoken from a place of confidence and like communicate, like you said, communication, like you're speaking from your, like that you've
Isn't
improved.
that
I think
gross
that's
though?
really cool that
I
you've
fucking
like looked
I
at it in
love
that
it here.
manner
I'm
as
like,
well.
wow, the victim
Like,
mentality
oh,
is
that's exciting.
like like
Yeah.
almost, I mean, yeah, I was gonna say like 8 out of 10 gone, but
Gone.
thank you for saying gone. We speak in confidence. We stay, you say, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. It
it's a
is
start.
though. Yes. Staying confident. It's got like, I think all the things that we've kind of gone through, I think within the years and all that type of thing, I think they've all definitely improved in terms of like
Oh,
how
yes.
we manage ourselves, what we say,
Preach.
how we speak to ourselves definitely has improved and stuff as well. It's just a case of, again, it's just keep improving from it. That's what it comes down to. But I love all of those things. I think that that's something definitely that can be obtainable as well. And I love that you put like speaking more like real and raw. Like, what do you mean, like out, like it public speaking, or do you feel like
I
you just
think
want to
there's
like
like
speak more
assertiveness, but
just
I
in
think
general, like content
in all
wise
aspect,
for
but I'm gonna be
yourself?
like like invited to speak and be like, wait, we actually want to hear what you gotta say. Because like I'm starting from communication skill to like
Yeah.
now I'm like communication skills two
Yeah.
out of 10, but now in 2025, like there's actually people seeking for me to speak and be like, wait, we want to hear you what you want to say. So I think
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
that's 2025 for me, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love that. I love that. That's the, I, that again, it always gonna happen because we've written it down. And I feel like when we do the pictures and have
Yes.
it in front of us every day, I think we will actually embody it. Do you know what I mean? Like we'll embody it a little bit more because you'll see it all the time. So that's gonna be cool. Okay, so last one. We're on the final one. We got health. So we got mental and obviously physical. I feel like Physical, you can look at in obviously two ways. I think mental kind of is like similar to like obviously what we've just spoke about, which was
Who
personal
you are
development.
now.
I feel like mental for me though is like um who I am now is like it's weird. I've put this, so I've put like I don't care, but I do care too much. So like my mental health, I feel like I care I care too much about what people say,
Yes.
but I also don't
Okay.
care. Like I try, it's like that flip switch in between. I feel like I do care too much, but I also don't, and I wanna do. I It's weird because I want to care
There you go.
more, but I also don't want it
There you
to
go.
overrule what I believe, if that makes sense. So for example, like if I have an opinion and someone has a different opinion,
Mm,
I don't want their opinion to overrule mine because I'm so confident in my opinion. I care about their opinion, yes, but I'm not going to let it take away mine. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like it's vice versa at the moment. It's like I care about what they think, but I care too much about what they think. So I'm like, oh,
totally.
I
Totally.
question
And I
my
can
own
see you do that too because you have
things. Do you
such
know what I
a
mean?
heart. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because,
So
yeah. Because you,
yeah. So I'm like, oh, should I
yeah,
do this instead then? Because you think that's better for me? Okay. I'll
yeah,
care more about your opinion or what you think more of them than my own opinion. Do you know what I mean? Not all the time, but sometimes. And I'm like, I like it and I don't. Like I think it's an okay
yes,
quality because I'm open, but I'm too open. So I
yes. And I
will
think, when
allow
you
my
said,
thoughts to get
I like
lost,
her,
you
but I want
know?
to love her. And I think that's going to be part of it because it's going to be like, because here's what I think. Okay. I'm cutting you off. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. But I feel like I need to tell you this. So you,
No, 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 you're good.
it's because your heart is so big. And I feel like you attach someone's opinion to how much you can love them in return. It's like, okay, your opinion is so part of who you are and you're sharing that with me and
Mm-hmm.
I love you and I don't want to hurt your opinion. So like to a point where you're actually taking that upon yourself and you're like, wait, to like honor your opinion and to
Uh-huh.
showcase how much like heart and feel I have for you because I don't want to hurt you, I'm going to consider it instead of being like out of love. I respect your
Mm-hmm.
opinion. I think whatever, but you love yourself so much that you're like in this, it's a safe way saying that you can share and have again more
This is my
genuine
opinion. Yeah.
relationship and more authentic relationship, and it's funny enough because I
Yeah.
feel like I've opened myself up to you so many times, and where you you had obviously very strong but very well put opinions where it shut me off like so quickly where I was like, it made me think. And that's why I love our relationship so much. It's never gonna be an end all be all like, here's an apple, you should eat the
Mm.
apple because the apple is gonna benefit you from. It's like, okay, well, Lauralie, here is all the apple trees and you know what it does
Mm-hmm.
for you to eat an apple. I don't know why I'm like always fucking like making comparison. Like I don't even know if it's gonna make sense. So bear with me, whatever. But here's what's going for, but in the end of the day, like what does Lauralie is really asking you? And I think that's what a good friendship and when you're in a good, healthy,
Yeah.
like what is a healthy mind? Nobody knows what a healthy mind is. We know what a healthy or we think we know what a healthy physical
Mm-hmm.
health is. There's studies made to it, or like what to eat, what to do this, but what is
Yeah.
actually a healthy mind? Like a healthy, like, do we have markers? Like what does a healthy mind looks like? And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a good thing to learn
Yeah.
about. It's like, wait, yeah, what are the markers? Like, is it to know your triggers? Is it to like, I mean, to start knowing yourself? I think that's like a very healthy mindset. But it's like, do you know yourself to a point where you're not putting up boundaries and you actually let it control you now, like opinions of other people? Is that a healthy mind? Like maybe there's like I don't know, maybe there's work to do there, but like having markers on like health
Mm-hmm.
as much as you have marker on your physical health, I think that's something you can start thinking about. But keep on going. You don't want overrule opinions of other people overrule you, but I think that's because you love so much. You're such a sweet, kind-hearted person that it's part of like your empath
Yeah.
being of like, wait, but if I like really wholeheartedly consider it, is going to show her that I love her. Like all of that is happening like behind the scene. And like,
Yeah.
probably not.
It's funny when you say that because I'm like, I didn't think of it in that way before because I was like, oh, maybe it's because I'm not. No, I was like, I didn't look at it like that at all, to be fair, but it could be correct because the way that I look at it is like, oh, maybe like I'm just not as confident in myself, so I don't think my opinion is valid. That's how sometimes I think of it as. But also equally, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So for me, I'm like, oh, maybe I should do this opinion, or I should like take their opinion on, or let it overrule
Yes.
mine
And I think you
because
keep
maybe they
your
could be right. Maybe I could be
your
wrong.
mind
It's kind of a
open,
mix
but
of
you
both.
should
Do you know
know
what I mean?
what feels right for you.
So
I think that's the most important thing, and sometimes it's okay to take people's opinion
yeah.
for something or like guidance, but um I love the way that you guide me back to myself all the time. Like that's
Hmm.
always how our call ends. It's going back to myself,
Mm.
you know. And yeah,
Mm. That's all it comes down to. I just need to do that to
please,
myself
because
a bit more.
babe, you like come on.
Just need to do that a
Like
bit
come
more
on,
to myself,
like you've
literally.
achieved enough in your life, and I think again like that's going to be your biggest breakthrough is like
I
once you realize
know.
what you achieve in your life, like that is not never going to be another problem. And I'm not saying that you're never going to ask opinion of your friend again, or you're never going to go through things again where you're going to gossip about it to your friends and
Mm,
like they're going to have your opinion and you're going to be like, wait a second, she kind of made a point there. But it's never going to be a takeaway where it's always going to
no,
be a takeaway. It's never going to be something that overrules your whole entire life where now, dude, it's so risky to do that too because you could resent so much. Like imagine if like you were so attached to your opinion on like my relationship per se, and I could never go back to you and like explain to you, like that would ruin our friendship for nothing because I'm going through things and like the human experience is that. So you're playing very slippery slope when you're doing
yeah,
that because you can create resentment into your relationship for absolutely no good reason just because you didn't take the time to
no
assess
reason.
yourself before going to other people. So yeah, that's no, it's tough. So that's your mental health. Do you have any
It's
other
tough.
thing like
So that's mental, and then physical. I've literally just put. I've basically put. I want to. What have I put? Right now, I a breakthrough to becoming. Okay, right now I'm having. Right now I'm having a breakthrough to becoming who I want to be physically.
yeah?
I don't know why I put the word breakthrough, but like that seems a bit like like big. But I put right now I'm in a breakthrough of becoming who I want to be physically. In terms of I want to be fitter, I want to make sure that I am taking care of myself, my actual internal and external body more in terms of not using it like it's about so for me it's like I'm trying to prepare myself for not being in a bodybuilding world and trying
Yes.
to not look at it as off season on season and trying to love my body for like but which I do anyway. I do both. I love both anyway, but I'm trying to look at it as the whole year. Do you know what I mean? Not just always looking at an on season, on off season, and trying to obviously, which is it's hard, but I'm trying to look at it from two different perspectives versus always being like, okay, cool, I like my body more now because I'm lean, or I like my body now because I have more
Amen.
carbs. I like my body because it's
Yes.
fucking
Amen. That's
functioning.
really
Do you
big
know what I mean?
stuff.
Like I
Yeah.
like my body because I feel like, do you know what I mean? Like it's trying to have those types of relationships with my body versus it just being preached for what it
Or what it could
does
do
for
for
me
you. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
versus
yeah.
what it
Like, yeah.
actually is. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like yeah, what it could do for me. Like trying to appreciate my body for what it is versus what it does or could be. I just trying to not look at it like that all the time. Because I feel like we rip ourselves to shreds and like, oh, I need bigger glutes. Oh, I need bigger this. I need bigger that. And I just we put our bodies through so fucking much,
Wow.
and like
Wow.
I just want to appreciate it
Wow.
sometimes, you know. We're still working on what I want to do, or what I want to be and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of, I want to just have a better relationship with that, not look at it as like, oh, you know, it's a way that I have big glutes and I have
Yes.
I don't know,
Yes.
like, do you know what I
Yes.
mean? Trying to look at it as like a
Wow.
thing, look at it as my like
Amazing. Amazing.
what it is, yeah. So yeah,
I
but
I'm
okay. So
I'm
what's yours?
laughing
Health,
because
mental,
when you said like
and
two separate things.
physical.
So
Last final one.
2025, who am I now? Still trying to join both world into a unit to move forward. That's what I have. In 2024. And then I said, kind of sad,
Okay.
but very excited for the Arnold. And that was a very surprising feeling for me. And I thought when you asked me how you feel about it, I knew you were kind of expecting
Mm-hmm.
probably something else. And I was just like, wait, but like, no, I actually have this like really enjoyment butterfly, which is like, it's so paradox to me right now because physically who I am now, I wrote my body is 4 out of 10. Physically, I could be optimized, blood work, body work on Tuesday, chiropractors on Friday, a new schedule, better mobility, um,
Yeah.
to where I would want it to be. S- Still holding myself, still a hard time holding myself accountable as worthy. So walking to like being worthy. Um, And then 2025, I said, no
Okay.
depression this time. You regulate very well and live in constant gratitude. You surrender always, but keep pushing boundaries realistically to better your physical health through a journey of, I wrote activities? No, maybe to, what did I wrote? Of many, I can't read myself. Okay, whatever. You met people and
You're like,
professional
I don't
that
know what she
help
wrote.
you achieve bigger than you. Let it be love. Oh my God. It's so you're getting such a like freak.
Oh my God. I can see where your
Yeah.
mode is though. I can see where your
Yes.
brain is going. Like, I can see where it's going. Like, I can see where it's heading. I love that though. But I like all of that because again, it's not,
Yeah, dude.
I think both of our goals on the physical side are kind of similar-ish, where it's not looking at what our body does for us and only appreciating it when it's doing right, but actually just appreciating it for what it is. Like, yeah. And but like you said, still pushing boundaries, still pushing and getting after those goals, but not like, I don't know. I like that analogy because I think we don't appreciate our bodies, what they actually do and what they are, and it's just always constant. It needs to be this, it needs to be that, and it's like fucking hell. But the body's tired. Do you know what I
Seriously.
mean? Like the body's
Seriously.
tired. She's tired. Like let her rest. Let her just sit. You know. So I think, yeah, that's I like. Oh my god. Also, this podcast
It's wild.
episode, an hour. We're an hour and
Mm.
40 in right now. We're an hour and
So worth
40
it.
in. So we really went in on this podcast, but like enlightening. Oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. This was insane. So I love that. So I feel like anyone who's literally at this point at the moment, an hour and 40 in, claps to you, firstly. Well done. And, and second, if this is something obviously you want to do, I'll try and put the 6 things in the description box below. You can remember them. Do who you are right now, who you want to be moving forwards, and I think it's going to be such a great way to start your 2025. So just knowing what you actually want
Yes.
to do moving forwards and like who you want to
Totally,
embody and all
totally.
those
So
types of
if
things, I
you,
think is so
so let's
important
do that. If
moving
you made
forwards. It's
it
just
to
development
an
in
hour and
general.
40 minutes of this podcast and you're about to
So
do vision, what do you want to say? Like keyword. I have a word. I would say write bigger with that little like sprinkle like stars emoji. Yeah, bigger or like what would you say? Like vision? What would like say a word that like someone
yeah,
can write or like something that relate to them. Like comments. Yeah. Yeah, bigger with like little sparkle.
Oh, what comment? Oh, comment. Like, I like bigger. Yeah. I feel like bigger little sparkles
Just
or
one
like
word.
vision. Like, comment down below what this podcast has made you feel. So like, yeah, one word. What has this podcast made you feel like specifically going into
Yes.
2025? And are you even going to do the vision boards? And if you do, let us know because we want to know. And before we finish, because obviously this is the biggest fucking news,
Oh,
huge congratulations that you are now doing the Arnold. The list came out literally 2 days ago because I was thinking this
babe.
halfway through. I was like, we haven't even mentioned the Arnold at all, which
I mean,
which was completely. I'm like, that's the biggest news of like
no, it's
the
sick.
bloody week. But
It's
like,
sick.
will no, but it's again, it's
Okay.
a huge achievement and it's a huge thing. And I think next podcast
Thank
we'll
you,
speak
babe.
about it, obviously, but yeah, like massive congrats. I feel like we've spoken for so long. I'm like,
Ooh,
I don't know what to
okay.
say about that. But next episode, we'll deep dive. We'll deep dive into how you're feeling
Yeah.
and going through
Thank you,
all those
babe.
things. So
Thank you, babe.
prepare for
Yeah.
it. Prepare for
Thank
it
you.
all.
It's
But no,
sick. It's honestly
huge
sick.
congrats for
You
getting
know, when I saw the
invited.
list and I felt
How
that
do you
like
feel for
feeling
it?
of like, I don't know, very new to me. I was like, okay, well, I don't really know, but this is sick. I was like, holy, like that's the
Yeah.
only thing that could come out of my mind. It was like, holy shit, like holy crap, holy shit, like wow. I was like, okay, let's
Yeah.
right. I would,
I
girl,
saw
I
the
would
list
have
as well. I was like,
listen
wow, this is a
as
good
much as
lineup.
like
Like, really good
yeah,
lineup.
I might where I'm at right now, whatever, like whatever, it doesn't matter. It would have been worse if I wasn't on that list. I'm so happy I'm on there. Like as much as, you know, I won the
Yeah.
Olympia, but yeah, let's do that. But I think it's sick.
We'll speak about it in the next,
I
yeah,
guess, I
we'll
guess.
speak about it in the next podcast
Thank
because
you,
I feel
babe.
like
Thank
there's
you.
so much
Yeah.
to be
I
said
think it's
about
gonna be
that for
sick. I'm
sure.
very, very
But
excited.
I'm
Yeah.
so proud
Arnold
of you and
2025.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Oh, I was like the biggest news. I was like,
I'm
okay,
excited for
what she's
you.
gonna tell me she's pregnant on like this podcast. I'm like, I'm
Let's
I'm
go.
done.
Let's fucking
Like
go. Oh my God, no. Fucking no. I'm like, the
uh,
Arnold. You're like, oh, yeah, that thing. I'm like, yes, let's celebrate those things for sure. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for you. I'm literally going to be the biggest cheerleader. I mean, this year I've been a cheerleader anyway, but I'm literally like, next year, just literally cheering all the way. I'm so excited.
I love you and I love you guys so much. We'll tune in for our next episode next week. Don't forget to comment down below. And
Yes.
again, always comment and reach out, whatever you want to talk about. And you're gonna have to redo your vision board, and I'm gonna have to like kind of redo
Yeah.
mine with just pictures now. So
Yeah.
got work to do, but we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Big hugs, big love, and yeah. Like how many weeks do we have? How many days till New Year? Not
Oh,
a lot.
don't talk to me about next year.
Okay.
I know,
Well,
like, I'm like, we've just spoken up an hour and 20 about it. I'm like, oh God,
we're like, that's enough. That's enough.
don't let me see it next year. Don't just wait. So we love you guys so much, and we'll speak to you in the next one.